Starbucks is one of the most irresponsible companies in America in terms of its anti-union bashing.
I pretty much retweet everything you post. So, Robert, let's talk about this, because this court is super corporate friendly. They've done it again with Starbucks employees.
They certainly have, Joy. And I think the fundamental question here it has to do with the court and the responsibility of the court to people who don't have very much power in our society, like employees of Starbucks. I mean, I'm old enough to remember a time when the Supreme Court actually took its responsibility to the less powerful seriously, assuming that the more powerful had the other branches of government to rely on. But this court has actually replicated the kind of power, enormous corporate power that we see exercised in the other branches of government.
Yeah, I mean, I can just go through some of the bigger ones. I mean, Citizens United, I think, was the biggest of all. It just opened the money gates for money to just eat up our politics and eat up our politicians. You think of Hobby Lobby, where they basically said if a company is led by a religious fanatic, they get to deny people access to birth control, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is just what they do. Walmart ruling for them. What does that mean in an age when unions are actually on a winning streak? This has actually been kind of a golden, it's been like hot union summer. You know, they've had a lot of wins. What does that dichotomy mean?
Well, it means that unions, although they are having a lot of wins, actually to enforce those wins becomes harder and harder. And we see a good example is Starbucks. I mean, Starbucks is one of the most irresponsible companies in America in terms of its anti-union bashing. And yet, ironically, Starbucks wants to have this image of being a corporation that are enormously responsible, and it wants young people to feel good about going into Starbucks. The fact of the matter is it's anti-union. This ruling is going to make it easier for Starbucks to continue to fire workers who try to form a union.
Yeah. And where's the balance right now? Because it does feel like labor. I mean, you are seeing, earnings creeping up. You're seeing a lot of these companies like dropping prices, so consumers are kind of doing better. I mean, you literally had President Biden walk a picket line. That's never happened. So there's a very pro-union president in the White House. It feels like there is some momentum for regular working people. Do you feel that way? Do you feel like there is a sort of a winning streak for regular folks?
Well, Joy, I'm a cup half full kind of guy,
yeah.
And I tend to look at all of the evidence that people are doing better, and they are doing better. Average people are doing better. In fact, we're seeing that the economy, even though most people don't feel it yet, the economy is working better for people. The problem is lack of power, particularly among lower wage workers. If they don't have power, and unions represent the most powerful vehicles they have to have a voice, if they don't have the power, then everything else really is temporary. Nothing is solid.
And there's no Supreme Court to protect them. And as you said, you think about Amazon workers, people that work in the chicken plucking plants, the people who work in meat packing plants. Where do they turn? You've got a right-wing House of Representatives, and you've got a very right-wing Supreme Court.
Exactly. And this is why I think so many people feel powerless. And ironically, some of them are feeling so powerless that they turn to somebody who looks like a strongman, who pretends to be on their side. That's it. But is actually, at this very moment, giving big tax breaks and promising even more tax breaks to the biggest corporations.
People need to know the most important thing to remember is that massive Trump tax cut is going to expire next year. That's why all the rich people, billionaires, are running to Trump. He is not for the regular person.